Okay, let's be real. The world of AI is just exploding, right? There are new tools popping up every single week. But which ones are actually going to be around in a couple of years and, really change how we work? Well, in this explainer, we're going to cut right through all that noise. We're going to build the essential 5-tool stack that is seriously going to power your productivity in 2026.
And I mean, this just hits home, doesn't it? This feeling of AI tool fatigue, it is so real. You're constantly hunting for the next big thing, but most of the time that just means more subscriptions and less actual work getting done. So that's what we're here to fix. We're going to focus on the signal, not all the noise.
So, here's our game plan. First, we're going to talk about the single biggest change that's happening in AI right now. Then, we get to the main event, the top 5 tools you need to know about. After that, we'll see how they all click together, and we'll wrap up by looking at what all of this really means for you and your career.
To really get why these 5 tools are the ones to watch, you have to understand this one massive shift. See, AI is moving on from being just a creative partner that makes things for you to an autonomous agent that actually does things for you.
And the difference here is, well, it's huge. Just a little while ago, we were blown away that an AI could write a decent email or make a cool picture. That's generative AI. But by 2026, the new standard is going to be AI that can actually plan a whole marketing campaign, reason through all the steps, and then go out and do them. It's a huge leap from simple creation to actual execution.
And this is the magic word right here, an agentic workflow. It's not about just asking one-off questions anymore. We're talking about giving an AI a goal and trusting it to carry out a whole series of tasks to get there. This idea is the foundation for our entire top 5 list.
All right, let's dive in. We've been looking at what actual users are talking about, what the top analysts are saying, and most importantly, which tools are really built for this new agentic world. And these are the 5 that truly stand out.
So first up, let's talk about complexity. Your standard AI model is pretty fast, sure, but sometimes it can be a little shallow. When you've got a really tricky multi-part problem, you don't just need a fast answer, you need the right answer. And that brings us to our first tool, ChatGPT. But, and this is important, we're specifically talking about its newer omni-reasoning models. You can think of it like this. GPT-4o, that's your sprinter, amazing for quick, simple things. But these newer models, they're marathon runners. They are designed to actually think before they answer, using something called chain of thought processing to work through tough logic problems, which just slashes the number of errors. So what's the bottom line here? Well, ChatGPT's superpower is simple. It's obedience. When you give it a crazy complex prompt with like a dozen different rules and constraints, other models, well, they might just quietly forget a few. ChatGPT doesn't. It follows every single instruction to the letter, which makes it hands down the most reliable engine for complex reasoning.
Okay, our next tool solves a totally different frustration. You know that endless back and forth, tweaking your prompts over and over just to get something you can actually use? Ugh! What if you could get way closer to a finished product on the very first go? And that's where Claude comes in. First off, it has this massive context window. You can drop in an entire code base or a gigantic report and it won't forget what was at the beginning. For developers, its Artifacts UI is an absolute game changer. It basically turns the chat window into a real workspace. And for writers, it is unbelievably good at matching a specific writing style or tone.
And that really is its superpower. It gives you higher quality first drafts. Whether you're writing code that just works on the first try, or an article that actually sounds like you wrote it, Claude's output is just closer to being done. It saves you from that last, most frustrating 20% of the work.
All right, let's switch gears and talk about research. For decades, searching the web meant one thing. You get a list of links, and then you have to do all the work. Clicking, reading, trying to piece it all together. It's so inefficient, and honestly, there's a much, much better way now.
And that better way is Perplexity. See, instead of giving you a list of homework assignments, it just gives you the answer. It goes out, reads the top sources for you, pulls out all the key info, and presents it in a nice clean summary. And the best part? Every single thing it says is directly linked to the source.
So yeah, its superpower is simple, but it's also profound. Real-time research that you can actually trust. This verification-first approach is exactly why it's become the go-to search engine for so many people who work with information all day. It's built for answers, not just links.
Oh man, we have all been there. You're on a really important client call and all of a sudden you hear, AI bot has joined the meeting.
It just changes the whole vibe in the room, right? There has got to be a more professional way to get your meeting insights. And that tool is Granola. The magic of Granola is that it's completely invisible. It just records the audio right from your computer, so no bot ever has to join the call. And afterward, it gives you these incredibly clean, polished notes that honestly feel like a human assistant wrote them. You can even jot down a few quick keywords during the meeting, and Granola will use the full transcript to flesh them out into perfect, detailed paragraphs. It's amazing. So, its superpower is crystal clear. You get the highest quality meeting notes possible, but without any of the social awkwardness. And that's exactly why when you talk to top professionals in tech, Granola is almost always their favorite tool for meetings.
Okay, so let's take stock. We have a reasoning engine, a high-quality writer, a research tool, and a meeting recorder. But how do we get them to talk to each other? How do we build those awesome agentic workflows we were talking about earlier? This is where our final tool, N8N, comes into play. It is the glue that holds everything together. It's a low-code platform that lets you connect all your other AI tools into an automated chain reaction. So for example, you could build a workflow where Perplexity researches some market data, then sends that info over to Claude to draft a report, which then gets saved to your team folder, and finally, your team gets a notification in Slack. All of that happens without you lifting a finger.
And there it is, the final piece of our puzzle. N8N Superpower is letting you build these custom agentic systems. It lets you be the conductor, orchestrating all your other tools and turning them from a bunch of standalone apps into a single, cohesive, automated workforce that just gets stuff done.
So we've gone through the 5 individual tools, but the real magic here isn't in using just one of them. The real power comes when you combine them into your own personal AI stack, where each piece is doing the specific thing it's best at.
So let's put it all together. This is your essential AI stack for 2026. You've got ChatGPT as your core brain for really tough reasoning. You have Claude for pumping out polished, ready-to-use content. Perplexity is your engine for fast, trustworthy research. Granola is there to invisibly capture all the key intelligence from your meetings. And finally, you've got N8N to tie them all together into automated systems that work for you 24/7.
And that really brings us to our final thought here. As these tools get better and better at actually executing tasks, our role, it has to change. If the AI can automate the what and the how, then our greatest value suddenly shifts to defining the why. Maybe the most valuable human skill in this new world becomes the ability to ask the right questions, to set the right goals, and to direct these incredibly powerful systems with wisdom and with real intent.